everybody, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Cosmic Tea Hour 999. For those who have been following along with us since the very, very beginning, I would like to take liberty and joy to reintroduce Mr. Julian Michael and Andrea Watson. Thank you so much both for being here with me tonight. How are both of you doing?
Doing good here, no complaints.
Beautiful.
I'm fabulous. Where every hour is an experience as we're walking into New Year's Eve and 2025. So it's the universe, the constellations, everything is getting us ready. It's a new moon as well, and also it's the 30th. A high 3 vibration, so it's time to take ourselves on another ride in our frequency of telecommunication.
That is right. So one of the things that we were talking about prior to this podcast is Andrea has just completed an 8-week course in numerology. And we were conversing about it because, Julian, you have experienced a beautiful 45 years of working with numerology. So we have new school meets old school and this beautiful collaboration. So, Andrea, you were just saying what about your experience?
Well, one, that it was a wonderful experience, but it is, there's a lot to know and there's a lot to learn. And so those 8 weeks were chock filled with, what I'm sure Julian will talk about, maybe the core numbers. And then, we talked about pinnacles and challenges and how numbers, this 2, when it's a destiny number, it could be this. So the 2 could also mean this. And it's a lot, but it's a lot of yummy, good stuff, and almost down to, I like to say, when you do psychic readings and that type of stuff, that, the tarot card reader or whomever can tell you that this is going to happen, but the numerologist can go down to the nitty gritty and say, this is what your month is going to be like. This is what your week is going to be like. This is what your day is going to be like. And that's when that'll probably happen. So the numerologist is really valuable. So on that note, I'll take a step back.
Julian had an experience with me where I watched him on another podcast, and I had put in my birthday. It was right around when I first met Julian, and he did my chart super quick, and he went through things and he rattled things off in like 5 minutes, and he was like, 2015 was a big year for you, including your mother, and my mother had passed away in 2015. Wow. So your gift, Julian, everything that you ever told me about myself has been beautifully accurate. And it's just such a pleasure to be able to sit and powwow with both of you tonight and share gifts and have a whole conversation, because there's been layers all throughout this day that we've been communicating together that are points that we pinned out to discuss tonight on here. So, Julian, how about your vantage point on it?
Well, just to let your audience know that numerology is an ancient science, and the father of mathematics is the father of numerology, Pythagoras. Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So here's a man who's a great philosopher in Greece, 550 BC, as well as also he was a musician, as well as a poet, a writer, philosopher, had his own mystery schools at 56 years old in Crotone, Italy. And in these schools, he went to a place of teaching about the mysteries of life and reincarnation, as well as all these yummy, yummy topics at that time. And he said, everything in the universe is number, and that number has a meaning. Everything in the universe has number. That number has a meaning. And then he went further. He said, what if? So we're born. And before we're born, our parents give us our name. And we're born to a birth date. And yet we're the ones who have traveled from one life to another life to another life. What if Your parents name you, but you're the one who has been on this soul journey. So in actuality, you name yourself because you're a walking, talking, physical, cosmic frequency where each letter corresponds to a number. That number has a meaning. It's a light language that's connected with source, with divine power, with God consciousness. So each letter is a light language of the divine. And your first letter of your name is your foundation letter, which means every letter, every frequency embraces your first letter. So that first letter is very important, not only in its meaning, but I always ask people to look at the form. Look at the form of the letter. Look at the form of the letter of A in Andrea. A is that of the first letter of the alphabet. If you look at the A, it's a pyramid with this line in between. So it forms two different dimensions in this triangle. And yet, in its form, it's an arrow. So the A is a person who has the bow. And they have their thoughts, their ideas, and all of it that they wish to do, and they put it into the bow, which is a metaphor of what is it that they wish to accomplish, what is it that they wish to do with themselves. And as they pull the bow back with the arrow, and the arrow shoots straight, focus, laser, success. Except letters and numbers have values, positive, but also duality, as well as of negativity, or let's call it ignorance, or let's call it challenges. So the A is challenged because they sometimes have too many irons in the fire, or they don't complete what they've started. So they're here to understand what? Alignment. A, alignment. Alignment. The T is the 20th letter of the alphabet. It's a 2. It's a 20. So whenever you have a 0 in numerology, it means having faith and trust in source, in protection, having faith and trust in your intuition and what is it that you wish to do. The 20 being a 2 is that of harmony and relationship. But let's look at the T. The T is a 1 with this high vibration. It looks like a horizontal line. It's like a T square. Interesting that the T square is also used in architecture. Also, the fact that the T, being the 20th letter, is not only about partnership and union and relationship, but also it's the vibration of hidden knowledge. The 20 is that of hidden knowledge, which means that it's an energy, it's a fountain, because the word light, L-I-G-H-T, which is a 397822911 2 vibration, is this light that's inside of us. So Teresa has this light inside of her. And when she has that aha moment, that light all of a sudden goes up the chakras through the top of her head, and she goes, wow, enlightenment.
So true. Tell us about the J.
The J, the 10th letter of the alphabet. There you have 1 0 again, 0 with the 1. And the 10 is not, it's a higher 1. And it's like being born in October. When you're born in October, you're not born just, it's not a 1, it's a higher 1. It's a 10. But let's look at the form of the J. It's a 1 with this hook. What does that hook represent? That hook represents that of history, of the past. Because J's with this hook, they love to access whatever it is that they can from history, from the past, from the sacred teachings. So they take whatever they need and deserve, and they access that, and they bring it up to what? The top again, like the T. But as the T has that top, the J has that top, and as the T, it's not finite, it's infinite. It's infinite in its
Mhm.
energies and its vibration. And it being the 10 is what? The 10 is a 1, but it's also related to Kabbalah, the
Mm.
Kabbalistic tree, the tree of life with the 10 sephiras, with the windows of God. And what is that? It means that it's the signature of having leadership, of having that power to be courageous and to be fearless and to go where angels don't go. And there's no mistake that the J's have a very powerful signature: Jehovah, Jesus, Joan of Arc, Joshua. So the J is here to understand their leadership qualities. So again, each letter starts charging you up, activating you in order for you to move forward with that energy, embracing all the vibrations, all that deliciousness with you as you move forward.
I love it. It's so great. Julian, that was really exquisite. We have live viewers here with us. I don't know if you remember that part of our podcast, but people are listening to you as you are
I
speaking.
love live viewers. They're fabulous.
And
The fact
Haley
that
has
they're alive.
Haley has messaged us and said, "Oh my God, what is H? Just asking for a friend." And do you mind sharing what H means, and then we'll move on?
Sure, let Andrea take it away. Go ahead, Don.
Take it away. I wouldn't even know what H means. I would leave that up to you.
Well, the first thing that you do is you go, what's an H? And how I know about H, it's very easy, because you have the H, which is the 8th letter. And then you have the Q, which is the 17th letter, which is a 178. And then you have the Z, which is the 26th letter, a high 8. So what's HQZ? Headquarters. So there are simple ways of understanding the letters to the numbers and
Oh,
their
yeah.
signatures. So the H is already the 8th letter. And what is the 8? The 8 is 2 zeros lying on top of each other. And they're lying on top of each other because they're in harmony. They're in balance with each other. The bottom 0 is closest to the ground. So it's your physical, material, and money world. The top 0 is all about, also, it's your mental and your intuitive world. And there's a balance there, but there's a point in the middle of those 2 zeros. It's known as the eye of the needle, the eye of infinite knowledge that connects that. But that's also very karmic, that energy, because it's important with the 8 to understand they have this power. It's a signature of power. It's a signature of authority. But most of all, how do you delegate your H, your power, with other people, with authority? And are you circulating your energy? Because a lot of athletes, sports people are Hs. And in their Hs, they're circulating, they're moving, right? Because the 8 represents also the blood. It's the signature in health of the blood. So it's important to understand how to move, because if you look at the 8 also, it's a racetrack. So it's knowing how to navigate your car, yourself, with all of this 8 energy. And not only is it power and it's the money, the banks, it's all of that. It's no mistake. What have we been going through? 2024. Hello, an 8. So we've been dealing with all of these banks and all of these closings and all of these companies and foundations and all of these changes taking place. And what's taking place? Horizontally, the 8 is the mother's breast, metaphorically nurturing, giving soul force, soul juice onto human beings. And what also is it? It's the signature of infinity, infinite intelligence, having access to that route to that travel with that infinite. And what have I found out also? It's the DNA code. So it's you understanding as an 8, as an H in 2024, you're being told, yes, your mother, she had this, your grandmother had this, your father had this, father that. But it's for you to understand that you have the power to change your DNA. You have the power to change your DNA. And look at the 8. It's the top 0 with the bottom 0. What is the 9? That bottom 0 of the 8 all of a sudden transforms, transmutes, becomes a 1 with the top 0 of the 8. 1 with divine mind, higher intelligence, source, God consciousness. That's what the 1 with the top 0 of 2025 is all about. It's understanding how to surrender, have faith and trust in that energy. And yet you will be going through a lot of purging, a lot of cleaning and cleansing of mind, body, and spirit. Take it away, Andrea.
Andrea only took an 8-week course. I am no match for you, man. No match to you. You are amazing. Every word you say is just so amazing. And seeing the numbers in a different way. I mean, the way you explain the 9 and see the 9, it's yummy stuff for me. So, I mean, I like I said, I only took an 8-week course, which is just the bottom line basic core numbers and pinnacles and challenges, but not to the depth of who you are, which is just so yummy.
Well, thank you for that, because what it entails also is for the person or anyone or anybody out there to look at the form of the energy and then learn the basics, because the basics are the stepping stones. And then after that, you just allow it to come alive, because it's a language. As Pythagoras said, everything in the universe is number, and that number has a meaning. You're speaking another light language. And the 9 of 2025 is so unique. Why? Because it has all the energies in it of 1 through 9. So this year is so unique because we'll be also having amazing opportunities and challenges.
Opportunities.
Right?
I call all challenges opportunities. Everything is an opportunity for me to grow. That's my mindset. Because underneath it all, even when it makes us cry, even when it hurts the most, it's still life asking us to grow. It's still our own self saying that I hold my power rather than me giving my power to the outside thing. That's my interpretation. I live by that. That's my own code of ethics.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And we have here, thank you for the clarity and explanation. So visual.
Oh, yes. Here too. Haley says,
I've learned a long time ago to keep things simple. But when I speak, it's like when you're meditating, or when you take that first breath. It's not just taking the breath. It's feeling it. It's tasting it. It's seeing it. It's feeling it. It's using all your senses. So when you're playing in this consciousness of numbers, it's understanding that you yourself are alive and open to the what if possibilities. As the 9 I said is all the energies. So it has the energy of the 1. And what is the 1? Standing on your own feet, taking charge, navigating your ship, being the explorer pioneer, going where angels don't go. And at the same time, What is the one? It's not rigid like a soldier. It's understanding how to be flexible and free with inner and outer storms. And what's the challenge? The challenge is being a happy dictator, a tyrant, being egotistical, out of your mind. And what is the two? 1 and 1 is 2. Union, harmony. It's relationship. It's also that of the problem solver. It's also that of the person who understands arbitration because they're put into a position of being diplomatic with others. It's also the host and the hostess of the mostess. Also, what is the 2? It's a feminine energy because it's the moon. It's the mother. It's female energy. And it's sensitivity. Sensitivity. And what's the challenge? Insensitivity. And not sharing whatsoever. And as we go, and as we went into the year 2000, because we were in 19, we were in that 1. In the 2, as we stepped into 2000, now we're in 2024, going into 2025, you have the 2. So we're being asked for the last 24, 25 years to share. To share what? The 0. The 0 of that 2024, 2025. And what is the 0? The 0 is having faith and trust and coming from a place where the 0 is like a mirror, a portal. And in that mirror, it's you looking at it, and it also is able to register where you're at with yourself. Are you feeling good? Are you feeling successful? Are you feeling like you're making a difference? Are you feeling good in that way? Or are you down and out and frustrated and depressed and you feel you're too fat or too thin, and let's take that Ozempic. But at the same time, it also, if you're feeling good, it's happiness being showered on you. And if you're not, that portal, that mirror becomes an energy field that all of a sudden can attract, and all of a sudden you can have problems and entities and challenges around you because you come from that place, rather than knowing, you know what, it's time to solve the problem instead of walking around with it.
That's right.
Same thing with the 0, with the 9. It's asking you, where's your mind at? As you think, so you are. As you think, so you are. The 3 is all about communication. It's fun. It's the child of the universe, the child of God. It's writing, it's playing, it's enjoying, it's telecommunications. It's everything that deals also with listening to what is not being told. It's also gossip and jealousy, as well as knowing that the word is divine. It's a signature, a light language, but also it can be used as a weapon to destroy. The 3. So you have
Why is that?
Because the 3 is the word. The 3 is communication. When you take the opposite of that, it's discommunication. It's knowing that your words can destroy rather than uplift.
That makes sense.
The 4 is exactly what we're looking at right now. We're in little boxes. Oh my God. With 4 sides. Look at this. Organization, discipline, a
Huh.
building block. The 4 is the building block, Andrea. It's the architect. It's the person who builds, who empowers, who also does what? The 4, if you're born in April or on the 4th, or on the 13th or 22nd or 31st, you're here to understand that you're a planner, you're an organizer, you're here to empower others for infinite probabilities and infinite possibilities, because that 4, that door, becomes that of openness. In Kabbalah, it's Daleth. It's called the door of light. The 4 also, as a box, you can feel boxed in. You can feel depressed. You can feel, oh my God, I'm also, I don't want to do anything. I'm lazy. Or I feel like I'm dead to the world, because the 4 becomes a coffin.
I always thought
this is all in the 9. We're stepping into this, my friends. We're stepping into all of these energies of 1 through 9 in 2025. January a 1, February a 2. Hello. March a 3. What do you think is going to be happening? April a 4. And then you have your birth date, correct, Andrea? You have your birth date. You have your code. I call it the PIN number. We have PIN numbers to bank account, to this computer. We have a PIN number to our soul's account. Month, day, and year, creating the 4th energy, which is that of your energy, your life path, made up of these 3 energies. And that is your talents, your opportunities, your lessons, your challenges, what's happened to you this year, this month, this day. It has your relationships, your health, your wealth, everything is in that code, because that's your code to your Akashic records.
So the birth number is our code to the Akashic record?
The records of your soul's library, yes.
Yeah.
So what happens, like, how does the number play into that? So if you are a 1, a 4, a 2, how does the birth number hold the key to your Akashic records? How is it connected?
It's connected because you have a month, day, and year. Those 3 energies create the 4th energy, your main energy. Today is the 30th of December. December is a 3. 30 is a 3. Then you have 2024 is an 8. 3 and 3 and 8 is what? It's a 6, 8, 14, 5.
Yes.
So we're in a 5 energy. So we're being asked today to reflect, to look at, because the 5, which we were going into, it's interesting, the synchronicity, serendipity.
It is.
I love that. The 5 is the inverted C, the past, moving up. So you can't take everything with you. You need to be discerning. You need to let go. And as you rise and you think you're free, comes the 90-degree turn, which is that of transformation, transition, as well as transmutation. And it's change. So the 5 is asking you, today is asking you to do what? To reflect. Take the time to look back, what worked, what didn't work. And careful, because you're in a 30 vibration, a high 3. Don't put yourself down, because you can. You can listen to those voices saying, oh, Julian, Andrea, oh my God, Teresa, what an idiot. You should have done this, you should have that. Just say thank you. Thank you for sharing. I love myself. At the same time, also in this 5, realize that it's not only time to change, but use that 3. Write it out. Write out, because it's a full moon. A new moon. Write out as a treasure chest of what is it that you wish to accomplish from this moon to the next moon, crossing into 2025. Also, what is the 3? Laugh. Laugh at your mistakes, because that's the secret of the avatars and the ancients. They understood and knew how to laugh at themselves and the mistakes and not take it too seriously. Because from one moment to the next moment, there's a change.
Mm-hmm.
This entire presentation that you've offered, Julian, is fantastic. Everything that you've said and shared has been so heartfelt. And you just pinpointed one letter, the first letter of our names, the T, the A, the J, and even the H. And I want to point out how you mentioned the H was a sports player and Haley is a professional skater on 8 wheels, like right down to the specific number, how interlaced it is with all of us. And if anybody that we know overheard the description that you gave of all of us, you were right on the nose and you only got into the first letter. So how gifted and how epic, because it is numerology. But like I studied, I don't know if you know, I studied astrology with Juno Jordan. I don't know if you know her or not.
I met Juno Jordan. I was part of her. I was part of the Numerological Association in the 80s. I heard her speak. She was 100 years old when Dr. Juno Jordan spoke to the top numerologists. And the books that we have now of numerology, most of them, the godmother is Juno Jordan, because she learned from her mom, who was a dentist in the 1800s.
Wow,
So
I didn't know that part.
Juno Jordan spoke about the fact that it's important to understand the basics. Understand the basics. And when you understand the basics of the number, then they're stepping stones taking you to their language, to their dimensions, to their universes. And it's so beautiful and so loving. She was an extraordinary woman. On many different levels, and her book "Romance in Your Name" is one of my favorites.
That was the first book I got to learn about numerology, and it resonated with me so much. And it was clear, accurate, pinpointed, made it so anybody can do numerology. But I would definitely be remiss, Julian, if I said that anybody did numerology like you. You bring such a unique flavor, perspective. You have embraced yourself in such a beautiful fullness, and your soul is so unique, and it's translated into the entirety of your person and all the things that you provide. Clearly, I mean, it's so evident how you are a lifelong learner, how you are a lifelong liver, experiencer, and immerser, but then you also share these gifts. And that's those 3-4 things I mentioned of you is definitely by far not the entirety of you. You are definitely one of the most heartfelt people I've ever met. And I feel like that really translates into the services that you provide, because you don't just do numerology, you also do past life regression and a plethora of other work that I would feel indulged upon if you shared with us what you do and how did you come to do it.
Well, very quickly, let me just do the 6. The 6 is the arm of God over the 0. So that is the mouth. So the 6 is the mouth. So it's a person who's here to understand how to speak, how to express themselves. It's also that of the heart energy. It's the romantic, the beautifier. It's also that of being selfish and being heartless. The 7 is the mystic. I love 7s. My name comes out to a 7. So it's the soul detective. It's the Merlin, it's the magic, it's research, it's analyzing everything. It's taking everything to another level, to another multiverse of multiverses. It's a person who, if you're born in July, if you're born on the 7th or on the 16th or 25th, or your year comes out to a 7, or your code comes out to a 7. Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages and all animals, you need space. You need space in order to ruminate, meditate, and then you come out to the world. The 7 can also be, and it is the most addictive of all energies, to alcohol, to drugs, to porn, to whatever it is.
I was going to say to Andrea, because she's a 7 and so are you. And I love hanging out with you guys. And I'm pretty addicted at this point.
There you go. We talked about the 8. We talked about the 9. So we're in a period of time right now as we go into 2025 to understand how to surrender, but how to detoxify, to get rid of the toxins. In order to be one with higher zero, one with higher mind, one with God consciousness, you need to do your Ho'oponopono, which is the Hawaiian as well as that of the kahunas, of which are the high priest and priestesses of Hawaii, of forgiveness, of letting go. You can't hold on to this stuff anymore. You got to clear your channels physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially as well. The word money comes out to a 9. Look at that. Understanding that money is an energy. It's a vibration of love. It's loving whatever you have in your pocket right now. Take a deep breath and say, I love my money. I love my bank account. I have a house. I have an apartment. I have a bed. I have food. I have shoes. I have breath. I have my health. I have my lover, my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, my family, my friends, my strangers. I have a TV. I have light. I have life. Love life. Prosperity is prosperitas. It's not all about money and finances. It's walking the healthy path according to the ancient teachings. It's from Greek. Understand and know that how divine we are. The kingdom of God within ourselves. The 9 is reminding us how unique we are. No wonder the extraterrestrials, the drones, the intergalactic beings, all of that have been around us for so many years, wanting to understand what is a human being. Why am I so fascinated by this creature? We're not AI. We're not robots. Elon Musk just came out and said, in 15 years, we're going to have more AI robots than human beings. Think about what that means.
It's crazy.
What this man just said. Treasure your humanness in 2025. Don't go out because you've been jilted by your boyfriend and girlfriend. Don't go out and get a personal robot.
I don't even want to entertain that idea.
Right? I was having a hard time. That was pretty serious.
Get a person who's human. Take it away, Andrea.
I don't know. That was deep. I hear you. That would be really bad. I mean, I wouldn't say bad, but like the thought process is going to be more AI than, robots than us as humans. I think that we'll always just have to keep that eye out and just stay true to us, stay true to the human touch. Like you say, don't go out and get a robot as a boyfriend or a girlfriend, because there's something to be said about human touch. You can't, I don't think any robot can match that. I mean, maybe feelings and, but not touch.
I think it's the soul. I've seen some really interesting documentaries about how they're replicating the AI to mimic the human so closely, but I feel like it is the soul. Like when we meet people that we create as tribe and we alignment with, which is everybody here that's listening with us, the friends, the family, the people that we decide to feel close to, which is beyond a decision. We decide it because we feel it. So even in us sitting here having this virtual living room right now, the reason why we can feel close, even though we're on a screen, is the soul connection that comes with the energy we feel being together. And that I think is what creates connection and community. That's love. That's our relationship to source and our relationship to each other. And I feel like when we have that relationship to each other, that's when we honor source the most, because we're doing what source does with us, with each other.
Beautifully
and
said.
Julian, I have one question for you. You were talking about the six earlier, and the way that Juno had described six was someone who had a love for family and for art. And I just wanted to know if you also agreed with that too.
Well, totally, because the 6 is the beautifier. If you're born in June, if you're born on the 6th, the 15th, the 24th, if your year comes out to a 6, if that fourth vibration comes out to a 6, you're here to understand that you're here to show people and open up their hearts. You're here to show them a night sky full of glittering stars, a child's smile and laugh, beautiful clothing, because 6s are very fashionable, very fashion oriented. Also, they're the artists, they're the writers. They're also the ones who love passionately. So they're here to understand what love is on that level of passion, because they're here to turn people on to their sweet, sweet hearts.
Aw, that's quite true.
Yummy.
There's been so much chit chat over here, Julian, but Val wants to make it a point about how much she loves your passion when you speak. She's like, there's no, like, the passion that you bring to it. And I love it too. Every time I watch you or engage with you, your passion is so infectious.
And we have here a V. Andrea, tell us about the V.
Sorry, as I said before, and I told Kristen earlier of why I'm here, I could not help you with a V. I just looked open to me, but we did not study the letters like this. I couldn't.
It looks
tell
like a
you
receptacle
about a V.
But what it is yes, and it's also a parabolic antenna. So it's a parabolic antenna that's open to source, to access. And what is the V? It's the 22nd letter of the alphabet. So you have 11s that are master vibrations and 22s are master vibrations. The 11 is that of thought, ideas. It's known as the messenger of the gods. It's the one who goes through the doors and connects with all kinds of people and experiences and adventures and all this excitement and wow. And then the 11 needs to understand that they need time to ruminate, to look at what just happened, what just transpired in this communication, in this experience, because they're the ones who share. They take the platform, they take the stage. A lot of 11s are actors because they love the stage. The word light, L-I-G-H-T, again, comes out to 11. They become enlightened by their experiences and they take the stage to share themselves. 22 is double 11. 22 is a 4, a higher 4. The 4 is the building block. The 22 is the master builder of blocks. It is the one who takes the ideas and excitement and adventures of 11 and manifests it and makes it happen and makes it real. So the V is a person that's here to understand how to manifest, create, and make it real.
Very true. Very, very true. So I love how we've been touching on it as you've been bringing us into this really wonderful world of numerology. how we are welcoming in 2025. And something that stuck out to me earlier in the conversation that I had with you, Julian, is you said, everybody wants to embrace 2025 about the positivity it's bringing and the new year that it's going to be, saying, all right, that this year, not my year, sucks so bad, but 2025, my year, positive, positive, positive. And I feel like we tend to come into the year, a lot of people, with a positive energy that this year wasn't whatever, this year was what it was. And next year it's going to be like a higher, better octave. And we look for that because I think in general, we tend to impose optimism on the new year. And right around the second week of January, for some people, the optimism goes right out the window and we go right back to our old habits. So one of the things that are really like two separate thoughts is, one, talking about the energy of 2025 from my experience with you is, let's look at the number for what it really is and how do we live with it? How do we live in it? How do we make the most of it? And then also too, that helps us instead of the second week into January where we say, you know what, never mind, it's too hard to live a better life. My habits are my habits. I am who I am. To say, well, if I'm open to being my best and highest self, this will be an easier energy for me to navigate, especially if I'm around like-minded people to help me get there. So I'd like to just take this moment and say, okay, 2025, we're heading into a 9. And then 9 is the end of cycles. And something you said in the last podcast or another conversation that we had, I think it was the last podcast we had in the very beginning, you said, so many more relationships could be healed if the partner just understood the number that the person was in and dealing with. So we look at the whole chart. There's a life path number, a heart number, the birth, the personality, the planes of expression, and they're all different numbers. It really is like we are a set of codes that make us who we are, especially through the lens of numerology.
Yes.
But you were talking too about the impact of the month on the number of the person. So when one partner is living their 3, personal joy, self-expression, childlike wonder, and the other partner is living a 9, the relationship could be so much smoother or harmonious if we could understand that while one person is embracing joy, the other is embracing the grieving or hardship or transformative energies of releasing something, of changing as a person and an identity. And then how can we balance those two different elements so that we can maintain the harmony in the relationship?
Very true. And because it's not just your birth date and your name, but it's also how many of that, of the ones you have, the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, the 5s, the 6s, the 7s, the 8s, the 9s, what's missing in your vibration. Missing numbers means too little of or too much of, and it's harmonizing that. And then when it comes to relationships, you take the last vibration of your birth date. So in other words, your month, your day, your year, and let's say today, your birthday is today. Let's say 12/30, and it's 2024. So you're a 5. So you're born today, your birthday's today, you're a 5. You meet another person who is a 3. 5 and 3 is 8, and that's your positive key to your relationship. 5 from 3 is a 2, which would be your negative. So there's all these different ways of understanding how to deal with not only clients and people, but how to deal with a loved one, how to deal with your partner, how to understand where they're at. If they have a 7 anywhere in that birth date, they need space. If you don't give them space, you're going to suffocate them. And it's not going to work because you need to give them space for them to do whatever they want to do. And if they want to just take off, let them take off, because the 7 deals with nature and water as well as being alone. But if you're a 7 and you have those tendencies, you can attract someone, but they have to give you space. They have to not occupy your time. You can walk with them, but don't talk to me. Just allow me to be in my 7th vibration. Yes. So there's so much involved. And then you have personal year cycles, which is the month and the day and the year of your birth date, of the year of that birthday. So you have personal years. So you can be in a 3-year, which is all about communication and joy and laughter and all this. And you can be with someone in a 9. And all of a sudden that 9 is letting go, cleaning and cleansing, getting rid of things. And that happened to me years ago, where I called a friend, client of mine, and I was in Brazil. I was in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and I was feeling her energy so strongly. And I called her up and I said, Melissa, what's going on? That's it. It's through. It's the end. I don't want to see Bobby anymore. I don't want to see him. Da 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 da. And I say, what's the matter? He doesn't give me the time of the day. And I said, darling, what's your birthday? And she was in the 3 energy. And I said, what's his? He was in the 9. And I said, darling, he's in the 9. And she, on the phone, she goes to me, all right, Julian, what is a 9? I said, when you're in your 9 year from your month, day, as well as the year that you had your birthday, that's the vibration known as the personal year. You're cleansing, you're cleaning. Also in the 9, you're with family. 2025, you're going to be with family, with friends, with soul family on levels that you can't even imagine. And I said, he loves you, but right now he's with his mom, his dad. And she said to me, yes, that's the only thing he's doing is being around them. I said, yes, he's in the 9. It's important that he has that experience, as well as he loves you, but you need to give him the space. I told her, give him the space. And when he goes into a 1, he'll totally direct his energy more towards you. And when he's in the 2, you guys will hook up.
So I have a question. I actually have 2 questions.
And this was Bobby Shriver and Melissa, Bobby Shriver Kennedy.
Name drop.
Why not?
Right. So
very special people.
2 of them. So my 2 questions are, when Juno Jordan has the Romance in the Numbers book, she has it where it's like the 4 is about structure and order and building, and the 5 is about freedom.
Yes.
So if you take somebody and that person has a birth number of 4, and their partner has a birth number of 5. Now this is the organic, almost like a natal chart of numerology. Do those energies oppose, or is it like, if you love that person, are you destined to have challenges because you have a different makeup? Of course, everyone will have challenges, but will you have more challenges, or is there a way to harmonize this energy?
That's what right there. You said it right there, Teresa. The fact that, yes, all relationships have challenges. Show me a relationship that doesn't have a challenge. And if you're a 4, you can be very conservative, very pedantic, and you're building, you're planning, you're organizing, you're grounded, you're grounding the people around you. If you're a 4, you're grounding the family, you're grounding everyone and everybody. If you're a 5, you're charming. You like to travel. You like to talk. You like to market. You like to exchange with people. But if you're a 5 also, if you're born in May, if you're born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd, or your year comes out to a 5, or your life path comes out to a 5, your fourth energy. I have also found out, because you are a person of the world, but you're a 5 for a reason. You know why? Because you were born to a family of prejudice or a culture of prejudice. And you're the one who's the teacher of freedom.
Wow.
And you're here to free people's minds and hearts from where they're at. So if you're with the 4 who's stuck in their ways, and you're the 5, you're here to open that person up to a totally different way, a totally different belief system. And there's a reason why you are with this person. I object, Your Honor, I object. I object to the fact that when people say, careful if you meet someone who's a 3 or a 5 or a 6 or a 7 or a 9, I say nonsense. You're supposed to meet that person, and you're supposed to understand how to get along with that vibration, how to get along with that person and their signatures and their likes and dislikes and their abilities and their talents and their challenges and all of that. And if you are walking around afraid because that person all of a sudden is born on the 16th, oh my God, they're a 16, they're crazy, they could be addicted, they could be insane, they could be a happy schizophrenic. Oh my God, I'm not going to be going out with this person because they're born on the 16th. You'll drive yourself crazy because you're limiting yourself. You're not surrendering to the source. Source is your greatest dating service. But allow yourself to love yourself and go out there instead of going, as I have clients saying, you know, Julian, I'm going to get married next year. I said, that's fabulous. That's fantastic. Have you started dating yet? They go, no, but I know I'm going to meet the right person. I said, you know what? Just go out with anyone or anybody, have a coffee. Well, you know, no one's asking me. I said, well, it's time for you to ask them. Take it to the next level. It's 2025. We're going into also this 9. Take it upon yourself to be courageous, proud. And if you like someone, male, female, whatever, go up to them and say, hi, how you doing?
Want to go for a coffee?
Let's have some coffee. I like your tie. I love the shoes you're wearing. I love your dress. I love your hair. Oh my God.
Julian, so what, just to kind of clarify, because I want to ask the second question before I forget it. But as an addition to this, so if I follow your lead with the earlier question, one person's a 4, one is a 5, we would see the success of the relationship becomes a 9 by adding them together.
That's right.
And then the challenges that come up for them is the 1, which would be like all brand new territory for them to navigate, correct?
Well, the 1 would be that of, in the relationship, it would be who's the boss. Because a person has a tendency of being too egotistical and they want to be the boss. So it's understanding in this relationship that you're both bosses and throw that ego away. And at the same time, don't be afraid. Take charge. And both of us are together in this, together in union. So let's both be leaders. Leaders being teachers, teaching other people how to lead. So in this relationship, we're both bosses. We're both God, goddess, or God, God, or goddess, goddess, or however you want to be in this relationship. But you're both strong and capable and able to deal whatever needs to be dealt with.
That's beautiful. So my second question is, we'll use Melissa and John? as an
No,
example?
Melissa and Bobby.
Robert, thank you. Melissa and Robert. So when you're at a year 3, she's at a year 3, he's at a year 9. How do you find middle ground from in your perception? So she's saying he's not making enough time for me. I really miss him. His time is important to my joy. His presence is important to my being able to go out and share life with him, and he enhances my 3. And then he says, I really need this time with my parents. This is something inside me is just drawn over here. I love you. I want to be with you. I don't want to sacrifice you to be with them, but I also need to acknowledge my inner spirit. Is it supposed to be like Beauty and the Beast, tale as old as time, where she has to learn to give a little and say, well, I'm more willing to be by myself, and I'm also willing to meet you there? Isn't it about creating arrangements with each other, or something different?
The arrangement is being made by you by understanding what that person's going through, and numerology is a tool.
Right.
So when you have the tools of numerology, you understand more of the person, their character, and what is it that they love doing, and what are they going through right now. And sometimes it's important to give them space. This beautiful, these beautiful words that you've said was nothing what was going on in their relationship. He disappeared. She didn't exist, and she was troubled. But because he was in a 9, I understood and knew that he's in a 9. We're in 2025. We're in an energy of all of a sudden you might just decide to just take a walk and just leave your company for lunch and just take a walk because things are so intense and you need some space, or you need to hug a tree, or you need to make a phone call because someone's been calling you in your GPS of your head. So what's important is for you to surrender, but give space, especially in the 9. If you're with someone else, you have to understand that you're being given tools. Use the tools. You have all this beauty, all this energy, all of these experiences. Numerology, astrology, palmistry, tarot, whatever it is, use your tools to understand not only yourself, but the people around you. You have no idea why this person's angry. I've been around friends. I've been around a girlfriend or so, and they get so uptight because this person treats them the way. And I look at them and I say, you have no idea what this person went through, possibly. Because we're also on a epic journey of ascension, of our frequencies being heightened at this time. In our 1 with our 0 in 2025, we're in this balloon where we're taking off on this journey to places where we've never gone before, to thoughts, to ideas, to all kinds of adventures and all kinds of experiences. But you have to understand how to surrender and knowing that you're safe, you're okay. And if you're not, you'll know it. You'll know it. So whomever you're with, take the time. There's no rush. When you're in a relationship, honor that person. Look them in the eyes. We were talking about feelings. Touch their hand. Hug them. Love them. Kiss them. Understand them. Use all your senses to communicate. What is it that you feel is necessary to communicate?
That's beautiful. Andrea, love.
Take it away.
Taking it all in. What are you?
I am.
Well, first of all, let me just say you are such a wise and loving person. I got the pleasure of spending Saturday with you. Andrea is my Reiki master. She is one of my best friends. She is my personal healer. In one aspect, in that she gives Reiki, but she's my my friend. We talk about everything, and we're constantly learning and growing together. And a positive disposition, a wise disposition, a give it to God disposition, a gratitude disposition. So, when I think about some of the pieces that you had mentioned, Julian, about going into 2025, I think everybody should have a friend like Andrea. And if you can't find the friend, then be the friend. Positivity, groundedness, putting things into perspective, harmonizing situations. And that's not a dictatorial statement so much as it is a call to action for, if it's not out there, if you don't see it out there, that's okay. It's an indicator for you to be it. So when you speak, you always speak through this lens of love. And I admire that about you. And a lot's been said here. We've been here for an hour together, and I know that your time is coming to an end. So I want to make sure that everybody gets the love that you bring to the table in this time we have left.
You are just so sweet. Thank you for giving me that opportunity. Julian's opened it up all the time, and I'm so gracious and so grateful to be here. I just am enamored by Julian, and even sitting in a situation of learning numerology over an 8-week period time, he just puts a different spin on it that is just wow. It's explosive. So I'm sitting here and I'm just taking it in. I have like this big straw and I'm like, and even the difference of like when you talk about relationships and, first going through the numbers was fabulous because that gave everyone like the basis of what the numbers are. And, wow. But to say that a person, let's say, is a 7, which is myself, and my husband's a 3, and I was like, oh, okay, so I can minus the numbers and find out kind of like the growth or when things get a little bit crazy, what's really going on. I never even fathomed that, but how yummy. Like numerology for me, just the little tip of the iceberg that I've learned has been just like mind blowing. But you just add that sugar on the top. You are the icing on the cake, Julian. I mean, it's just been wonderful to be here. I mean, I love, love, love Teresa, but I love you too.
Thank you. And I accept that and I return it tenfold, 100-fold, infinite-fold. And I believe I have that relationship formula on my website, julianmichael.net. And
I love that.
And also on Instagram, I'm Soul Magic, SOLMAGIK, SOLMAGIK. And on Facebook, I'm Julian Michael. On LinkedIn, I'm Julian Michael. On Twitter, I'm Julian Michael. Julian Michael 11. And TikTok, I'm Julian Michael 89. So yes, and my telephone number, here's a crazy story. So I went to T-Mobile in 2003 or something to get my phone and my phone number. I was living in Los Angeles. And the next thing is they gave me 5 numbers. So I spent about 15 minutes going through each number to find out what my number comes out with, because your telephone number is your signature of how you communicate with people, how they feel you, as well as how you communicate, express yourself, if you're listening or not. So I chose 323-384-1333, 323-384-1333, because it comes out to a 33, which is a 6. And that's a master vibration of communication and love. It's the Christos consciousness. It's the Bodhisattva. It's the high Venus vibration. It's that a person who is teaching from the heart, the divine soul, sweet heart.
It matches you. It's you, it's you, it's you, and then some. It's you. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, and everyone take their telephone number and work it out, and then find the last number, and that last number is how you communicate, express yourself. Same thing. If you have a car, take your license plate and work out your license plate, and that's your energy of driving. That's your energy of movement, of adventure. That number. So take your address, and if you live in an apartment, that's the consciousness of your apartment, of your house, of what your apartment wishes you to do, and you with the apartment, because there's a relationship. It's alive. Your apartment, your energy is alive as you are. Your apartment is, your house is. So there's all these signatures. There's all this play going on. That's why it's so much fun. That's why I've been doing it for 45 plus years, because it's amazing. And every day is a new experience.
100% true. And while we're talking about how people can communicate with you, there was a question that I asked earlier that I didn't get to finish with you. Can you explain to people what you provide?
Well,
aside from the numerology?
Well, numerology, as well as hypnosis, as well as past lives. I've been doing that for over 35 years. My teacher is the teacher of Dr. Brian Weiss. Many lives, many masters. His name is Gerald Kine. When in the book, when Brian Weiss went into his spin after Catherine, who started speaking from another multiverse onto himself, he took a leave of absence from being the chairman of the board of psychology of Columbia or wherever he went to, and he didn't know where he was coming or going because he was very pedantic. He was like a scientist, a 4 in that way, and a 7. So he met my teacher, Gerald Kine, and Jerry taught him about everything. And I came across Jerry in Fort Lauderdale, Florida in 1989. Wow. And then I took that, and I was asked to speak in Brazil at a conference. And I spoke in front of 2,700 people in 89 about numerology, as well as also hypnosis and all of that. And then I ended up living in Brazil from 92 to 98, and going back and forth and studying with shamans and psychic healers and with parapsychologists, psychologists and stuff like that, and becoming known in Brazil and all of that and more. And it's been a journey, because when you have a tool like numerology, you're able to not only understand yourself, you're able to understand the person in a relationship. You're understanding more of your mom, your dad, and why you were born to these people, as well as your children and the children that you have being extensions of yourself. You're also here to understand more of the boss that bosses you around, or you being the boss, or what your likes and dislikes are, what your challenges are, what your health is, what your relationship, what your money is, all that and more. So that's all in the numerology. The hypnosis I love because I am a psychologist. I have degrees in psychology, education, and film from college. So the mind always fascinated me. And when I was able to register what hypnosis was, and then people were jumping into previous lives and bringing them into a place of what happened then and what's happening now, and taking what happened to you and bringing the goodness, the positivity to your life now. How beautiful it is to have that gift, to be able to do that. Also, I'm also a Reiki master, and also a healer of many sorts, reconnection with a Dr. Pearl, Eric Pearl, reconnective healing. Also, I trained with psychic healers in Brazil every Monday. I traveled over 2 hours to work in a place that was the poorest of the poor in Brazil, with a psychic healer, understanding and knowing how to work with energies and all of that. So, and also I'm an author, and I'm writing, and I'm on my 8th chapter of my numerology book. And the numbers are in poems 1 through 9. So I embraced poetry in my adventures as being a poet. So yeah, and now I'm working with energy. I'm working with lasers, for wellness, as well as with tuning forks. So I'm learning that geometry of energy. So I love life because it's a constant, beautiful experience when you go through what you go through, right? To understand what life is, and it's a treasure. It truly is.
I love all of that. You're such a unique person. Every time I correspond with you, Julian, the first thing that radiates out to me is Aquarian energy. You embrace it all. You love it all. You hold space for it all. You try the food in the different cultures that you go to. You embrace people for who they are, what they are. There's no changing anybody. You hold space to heal them, accept them, understand them, hug them. You immerse yourself in everything you touch and everything you do. So me saying you are this lifelong learner, you are also this lifelong experiencer, this dance with the soul. You are, to me, you're worldly, but not just because you traveled, but because you allow your soul to dance with the world and have an experience. You're not, there's people out in the world that once they love their family, they love their spouse, they love their immediate circle of people, they tend to kind of like let the rest of the world be a fuzzy place where they're just like, it's there. I know it's there, but like, I don't do much with it. And I feel like you're the opposite, where you do love the people close to you, but you see the world as people close to you. And you want to just be all up in it, roll around in it, and experience all the best that it has to offer. And even when you're presented with the hardship part, you'll scratch your head and go, okay, what am I here to learn from this? How could I take this and turn it into something of silver lining and allow myself to continue to dance with divine energy and bring sadness into joy, bring anger into joy, bring challenge and transition into a place of joy, so that I can keep the party going and ball rolling. And like that, to me, is one of my biggest takeaways of every interaction that I am with you. That's always the energy you bring.
Well, thank you very much, because you just spoke about 2025, the 9, because a conversation I had the other day, and I was saying in this talk, I was talking about the fact that in this 9, it's important to express yourself, but also listen, as well as have patience and understand that some belief systems are not yours. And that person is not going to believe what you believe in. So if you're a Democrat or a Republican or a communist or a fascist or whatever you are, get to understand and know that there's a reason why God wants you to meet this person and be around this person and speak to this person. And this person has their ideas and their way of thinking and being and treating male, female, children, life, what they eat, what they drink, what they do in their lives, and step back and commune and communicate and come from a place of non-judgment. Non-judgment. It's a beautiful thing when you have non-judgment and you're able to be around all kinds of cultures and people and thoughts and ideas and philosophies. You learn so much because it's something that I have addressed for a very long time. In the 80s, I was very much into meditation and yoga, as well as I had my gurus and I meditated and I did all this and more. And I read a lot. I'm Catholic, so I learned a lot in the 80s about Hinduism and Buddhism and Zoroastrianism and all this and more. And I came across a book called the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad
That's a really
Gita,
great book.
which is the Bible of India. It's like India's Bible, Hinduism on another level, and all of that and more. And I never forgot this phrase, and I've lived this phrase ever since. And this is early 80s. No one is out there except for you. No one is out there except for you. No one is out there except for you. Huh. As a psychologist, as a therapist, as a person who has been traveled in relationships, and I've died, I've come back in the last 3 years, all that and more. No one is out there except for you, which means that everyone that we meet is our past, present, future, now. Every person that we meet is a part of ourselves and who we are. So if you're not getting along with someone, what part of you are you not getting along with? If you're not getting along with your mother, your father, your brother, a sister, or a child, or a boss, or a lover, or whomever, what part of you are you not getting along with? If you love Biden and you hate Trump and you hate Putin and you want to see that person dead, assassinated, controlled, manipulated, what part of you are you doing that to yourself? And when I started taking that technique and doing an exercise and starting to breathe and live those words, no one is out there except for you, my whole life transformed, transmuted, and I ascended to a totally different way of experiencing people, life, animals, consciousness on all levels. And that's what the 9 of 2025 is all about. No one is out there except for you. It's all about gratitude and grace for being alive. And God puts you with whomever you're supposed to be with, in a relationship of love, in a relationship of
Are you intentionally not speaking? That was weird. I don't know where Julian went, but it's also 10 p.m. Hi, Julian.
Hi.
Give me 1 second, just one. Sorry. Andrea, I know it's your time to leave us. Chris wants you to know that you are fabulous. And Val would like you to know that you have a beautiful smile. So as you depart from us, our company, we'll keep the podcast going if that's okay with you, Julian.
For a few more minutes because I have things to do. But Andrea, you have beautiful teeth. You're a beautiful soul, beautiful heart. You have a great dentist. And also, I'd love to speak to you more.
Awesome. I have that number, and I want to make sure I have that number right, because I would be ecstatic to speak to you more. It is 323-384-1333.
Yes.
See, I will. Perfect communication.
I'm trying. I will connect with you within the next 24 hours, if that's okay.
Beautiful, beautiful. And know this, that I was a student, and the next thing is I'm around Dr. Juno Jordan, 100 years old. I'm around the person, Dusty Bunker, that wrote an amazing book called The Divine Triangle that I embraced with so much. She signed the copy for me and gave it to me in the 80s. I was around all of these people that were doing it for 75 years, 50 years, 45 years. And I started doing it. And the secret is practice. Practice. Do your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your husband, your wife, your an actor. There was a time where I was just calling up the library out of Los Angeles, and I had 3 people that I can get. And what I did is I got the birth name of actors and actresses and the name that they use now. And I started doing charts on them.
Love it.
Just to practice, and to connect with this vibration of numbers, which is so sacred, so powerful, and deliciousness on another level.
I love that you say yummy and he says deliciousness, and I loving that connection.
Well, he said yummy early, and I was like, yes, that's a man after my own heart. Yummy. Sorry. And I want to thank everyone for all the positive comments and the love. I appreciate you. And Julian, you are fabulous.
Thank you.
Amazing. And I just love. And Teresa, thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. Guys, you rock. And I'm sorry I have to run. Much love.
No problem. I understand. Ciao. Thank you. We love you.
Talk to you soon, Julian.
Ciao.
So the only thing I wanted to kind of just spearhead towards the end of our podcast and time together, Julian, is we're welcoming in 2025. And we've said multiple times, it's the year of the 9. And one of the things I started saying earlier was, actually, let me take it back 1 octave. When we started out this podcast and the idea for it, it was going to be Peter, you and I, and we had a special that was planned out, and it got a little redecorated, but it was the conversation that we had to bring something new together that has allowed this to come and be exchanged or shared in this moment. And that is, we were talking about how, 2025, positivity, your year. And we said, this year is about surrender. It's the number 9. There's going to be, it doesn't matter what year you're in. There's going to be something that happens. There'll be a challenge, or there'll be an opportunity. There'll be love. There'll be a little something, like, who knows? Every year is a mixed bag, but it's what you make out of it that determines how much you're impacted. So me being baptized as a Buddhist and learning a whole plethora of different modalities in spiritualism, in psychology, mindfulness, meditation, manifestation. I take what I learned in my life that matters to me a lot is law of attraction. Like attracts like. And when I was really bringing that into my reality, I would say, whatever I am, there I am. I will find myself, much like the point that you made from the Bhagavad Gita. And it's like, when I had that remembrance or that type of an experience, I became much more serious about the way that I acted and reacted in all situations. So instead of subscribing to this will be negative or that will be positive, I took the Dalai Lama's advice and said, life is like a river. If I focus on staying in the water and not going to the left to grab a hold of one side of the bank or to the right to grab a hold of the other, I will practice flow. So my visualization, or what I do my best to adhere to, is how can I maintain being in flow with all my life? So how can, going into 2025, from your perception, what do you feel the energy is about? And two, if you could give anybody advice about staying in flow, what would it be? And
to come from a place of grace, come from a place of gratitude, to pray, to meditate, take the time also to work with yourself and your light and your field. I have a YouTube 11-minute video called Julian Tesla Meditation. And what it does is it creates the field of light, a Tesla field, an electromagnetic energy field within and around you. And I've been doing this for over 20 years because it was given to me by Nikola Tesla in a vision I had in the 90s. And 5 days later, I shared it with the audience because I was speaking in Sao Paulo in front of 800 people, scientists, doctors, and all kinds of interesting characters. And that's one of my gifts, is really do everything you can to also shut off the noise. I've learned also as a therapist, because we all have our challenges and our the words coming to us. You're ugly, you're stupid, you're poor, you're this, you're that. Why did you do this and that? And I go to a place of, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. Thank you for sharing. I'll take that into consideration. I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. I don't come from a place of be gone, devil, be gone. No, I accept and listen to what that energy is saying, especially if it's in my head. And I'm coming from a place of love to understand more of why this energy is there and why it's saying what it's saying. Also, use your tools, people. We have had our experiences, our teachings, our readings, our mentors, our ups and downs and ins and outs and everything. Use those experiences as teachings as you move into this very unique, magnificent time. Also know that if you can't solve it, give it to God, but also if you know and understand that you might be in a conflict, look for people like myself or Teresa that can help you one way or another to work out whatever it is that you wish to understand, or you want to understand more of what your destiny or life path or what your purpose is in this life, because that's one of the things we're also going to be questioning. Even for us who already have a purpose, we'll be questioning if it's the right purpose. So it's very important also to find time to listen to music, to be entertained, to have fun, to read, to write, to use all of these tools and more, because you're a treasure chest of divinity in so many ways. And tap into and open up that treasure chest and start working it however you deserve to work it in. And as you step into this year and when you're going to be in the year, and every day is a birthday, as I say in my pearls of the day, in my numerology that I have on all the different venues, Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and TikTok and also Twitter or X. So understand that you're precious, you're beautiful, and that you are a light, cosmic, physical being of love, of love, of love.
Of love. This is a beautiful place, I feel, to close our space together. Thank you for bringing your energy to us and sharing in this conversation, welcoming in the 2025. Val would like a reminder. What is the name of the YouTube to find your Julian Tesla meditation? What's the name of the channel?
The channel is Julian Michael Numerology.
Okay, Julian Michael Numerology. Or
you can just go to YouTube and just put in Julian Tesla meditation.
Julian Tesla meditation. Okay.
And for those who wish for a healing in one way or another, I have another one when I hurt myself on a roller coaster in Jersey and my leg went out the carriage that was holding me, and my leg went out and I hit the tree as I was on the ride. It kind of like just sort of like hit it, but it didn't hit it. And the doctor said that I'll be able to walk okay in 6 months, with a cane in 3 months. And I meditated, I prayed, and I came across this amazing work that was given to me by Source, and it's called the Julian Psychic Healing Meditation, and it's 12 minutes, because in doing it 3 times a day for a week, I was walking with a cane in a week, and I was walking perfectly in 3 weeks.
That's so beautiful. Unlimited. You are an unlimited gift. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you. I feel like, doing Cosmic Tea Hour, we've been doing it since May, and we've created a really beautiful community. And I've met you through Peter, who's now one of our mutual best friends. Peter loves you, and that's how I met you. I love the light and the love that we bring into these situations. And when I think about stepping into the new year and all the things, if 9 is about endings and releasing toxins and getting serious about who we are and what we want and taking ourselves with love and seriousness, but also playfulness, an energy like this and a gift like this helps us to navigate the road ahead. And I definitely will be giving you a call to get my numerology reading and pick your brain for the questions I have. So I look forward to that experience as well.
We're graduating, darling. We're graduating. The 9 is graduation.
That's right. That's right. We're going home, ascending.
We're ascending. Blessing.
That's right. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us for our numerology holiday special. Hanging out with Julian, Michael, myself, and Andrea. You are loved. You are fabulous. You are wonderful. And let's all bring 2025 in with a bang. We will see you soon.
Blessing. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2025.